the old Davis Theater, and it's now part of Troy University. Troy University is a really big university here, and it's based out of Troy, Alabama, but they got satellite schools here.
Okay.
And this over here is the Rosa Parks Museum. We'll come back to it.
Oh, the day I break these chains, I'm bound for the life of the simple things.
And we'll take you up to the Martin Luther King church and let you get out and do some pictures there. And then when we come around this curve up here, we're going to be facing right into the Capitol. So you probably really like to get some pictures of that.
Mural. I hadn't seen the mural yet.
Yeah, I'll come back and let you film that too.
That's new.
They did that for the that last memorial walk they did. Right. Now this is the square, what used to be Town Square here, and this is where back in the days, if you look at any of the old pictures, they always bring their cotton wagons and stuff down here. And there's one of the old trucks. See, old truck.
The pop-up shop has local artisans and stuff in there, photographers and whatnot.
But they redid it back with the cobblestone like a few years ago. They're really working on rejuvenating this. All this at one point was all boarded up. You can see they're redoing that building there. But that is our state capitol right ahead.
The Cusco's and the Irish Pub.
Cusco's is real good. The Irish Pub is an awesome little place to eat. And of course, you know us being round folks. If you ever want to know where the good places to eat, ask somebody.
That's one of them. Yeah, never doubt a fat man.
Yeah, heck yeah. Food. Well, when people try to tell me I'm out of shape, you know what I tell them?
Round is a shape.
That's right.
Midnight in Montgomery, Silver Eagle, Lonely Rose. Was on my way to Mobile for a big New Year's Eve show. Stopped for just a minute to see a friend outside of town.
On the next corner here, you can just kind of see the steeple right there. That's the church that Martin Luther King preached in, and he was originally from Atlanta, but
this is one of his churches that he ministered at in the area.
Thank you, minister. So, and this was where,
and it's clearly out of place.
The civil,
all the other buildings,
all the civil rights stuff going on, and so forth. This is the building where they all had their meetings and so forth.
Right there, babe.
We're over here with the portable preppers and checking out the church that Martin Luther King preached at when he was here in Montgomery, the main one. We're just shy of the Capitol over here.
I recognize saying there, may peace be in our homes and communities and our families.
I like that idea for sure.
Yeah, we
over here, guys, on this is part of the walk where they came into town during the main civil rights walk, where everybody kind of got thumped and sprayed with cannons and weren't allowed to protest, as they were trying to be blocked by the police at that time and the governor. And I find that real troubling. There should have never been a time ever in this nation where people weren't allowed to have their opinions, allowed to protest, allowed to organize. That should have really never happened. Obviously, racism is a problem too, but at least we should have always had that level of a playing field. And you know, the more I've learned about it, there was some pretty troubling things that had gone on during that time, during the civil rights movement, that were blocking people's, you know, basic
everyday rights.
Yeah, everyday rights, basic rights. It wasn't really just racism at that point. I mean,
the right to go to a school because you're white and a black person couldn't, you know, a black child couldn't go to that same school and get an equal education as a white child. That's not right. That's not right anywhere, whether it's a black child, white child, Hispanic, whatever. They all we should be equal across the board.
Yeah, and the only way we can assure that is to have our right to protest and our right to have our voice, right? And there was people of all races that were part of that group in that march that were not allowed to have their rights.
Yeah.
And that's we can't ever let that occur again.
No, not at all.
Yeah, like in the square in Birmingham, it was written there, segregation is a sin.
And I completely agree with that. I don't believe in, you know, in any type of racism or any type of inequality, whether it's because their color or their physical conditions.
And what's this building?
That's Alabama Department of Archives and History. It's our history museum.
It's kind of like a natural history museum, sort of, more like than archives.
And we're going to go around the corner here to the first White House of the Confederacy, and I think you'll really enjoy that place. This building right here with the green and white and red, that's the first White House of the Confederacy. And what that was is when during the Civil War, when we the states split, they had to have a White House. You know, where's the president going to stay? So that was it.
They probably had it closed today on Monday.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it closes at all.
I don't know if you can go in there.
Yeah.
I ain't never been in.
You never been in there?
I don't think so.
It's a full museum, and it's
know.
free.
Free is good. Put them sticker up.
Like I said. And that's all about
We're the third biggest city
march.
in Alabama. Birmingham is first, then Mobile, and then us. But we're the capital.
Hey there, guys. So we're right here in front of the Rosa Parks Memorial. And if you guys remember the story about Rosa Parks was the lady that had just decided she wasn't going to get up and give up her seat for a white person on the bus. That had been the norm, and the bus driver stopped, had the police board, and arrest her. And it was all because she didn't choose to just hand over her seat to somebody because they were of another race. It was a big statement, and I think it was a very healthy statement. That treatment should have never gone on. And so we're gonna go check it out. I'm gonna go and see if there's quite a bit about the story. I'm sure I don't know. So I'm gonna go in here, check that out, try to learn a little bit more about it. Always love to have unique cuisine at eateries.
I don't know if this is unique. It's a hot dog, for goodness sakes. But
Well, it's unique because the building's 100 years old.
yeah.
We're over here in front of Chris's, so we're gonna go in here and grab. I'm gonna have a chili dog. Catalina's gonna see what she can have and stick to her vegetarian diet. Coming in here to grub.
Oh yeah, man. Go get her grub.
You ready to try it out?
Yeah, they have onion rings.
It's a meeting the portable preppers.
Oh, it's a meeting of the Wanderlust.
Well, I'm Gus Katichis. I'm one of the owners of Chris's Hot Dogs in downtown Montgomery. This is one of the oldest restaurants in town. It's been here since 1917. My grandfather opened this up 98 years ago. He served everybody from FDR to President Truman. Hank Williams was one normal customer of his. Hank used to sit up here and get a hot dog, beer, and a shot every time he came in. One time he was sitting in here and a pretty lady, like you walked in and said, "Take a look at what you got cooking." But that song sitting in here. You should keep out drinking too much. At night, he'd come and sit at our back booth after he played music in town, and he'd sober up. And many times he'd get asked to leave after that. There's stories of him when he was about 13, sits on the jukebox, playing the guitar. So the parade was going on outside. So there was more people in here watching a little boy play guitar than was outside watching the parade. There's Tula Bankhead, that was an actress from New York. She was a normal customer of ours, and she was getting interviewed on national radio before TV and stuff. And they were like, "Well, what do you miss about the South?" She was from Birmingham and spent a lot of time here in Montgomery. Her dad was a federal senator for the state. And so I sure wish I could hot dogs right now. This was on national radio, and it was so big for us. My grandfather catered for Elvis, and about 200 hot dogs at Elvis Hotel. Our biggest orders for George Wallace, 3,000 for George Wallace, for the presidential kickoff campaign. George Wallace used to come in here about every afternoon, pick up a cigar on the way home to the governor's mansion. And then Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, they were normal customer of ours. Back when they were coming in, we had the cash register up front, and they had to stop up front, wouldn't let them come in here. And that was during segregation times. So my grandfather was a Greek immigrant. The KKK did not like blacks, or Greeks, or Jews, or Catholics, or Irish. But to run a business in Montgomery, you kind of had to go by their rules. That's the way it was back then. So he didn't care what you were, as long as your money was green. That's all he cared about, what it should be. Back then you kind of had to do what they said, and they had a problem even with whites and blacks using the same door. We have no back door, and so he kind of made an agreement with them. Well, how about they come here and stop here, and they don't go any further back than that. They used to come in. Martin Luther King would come in and get a Atlanta Journal from my grandfather a couple times a week. We sold newspapers and magazines, and he'd come get the Atlanta Journal from us a couple times a week. And then Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks worked one block down. And she used to come in there so often. We catered for FDR came in here a couple times. He'd get stopped at the train, get hot dogs, and now y'all. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
We put mustard, onions, sauerkraut, and chili on our hot dogs. Chili sauce was kept in the business for 98 years, and our hamburgers are fresh patties. We never freeze our meat. Well, we just freeze the meat this weekend over the holiday. We were closed for 4 days. First time we've been closed for 4 days in years and years. So we froze about 20 pounds. Had some more come in this morning. We don't have any frozen meat left, but we make our patties up by hand and make them about 20-30 minutes before you eat them. Put them on the grill, put salt and pepper on them, and that's it. So, put mustard, ketchup, onions, and chili on them.
Well, one thing I will say, it is a sin to the first time you come to Chris's Hot Dog and order a hamburger. We admonished the gentleman the last time we were here. He came in and says, I've never been here. And it's called Chris's Hot Dog. And he said, what should I order? And there was another couple sitting there, and then he was down there. And we all said, the hot dog. He said, well, I think I'll get a hamburger. And we all said, no, get the hot dog. It's definitely the hot dog to get.
So welcome to Montgomery. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, sir.
Definitely.
One of the oldest cemeteries in Montgomery. They have a section in here that has a lot of the Civil War soldiers buried and so forth. But we're headed to where Hank Williams and his wife are are laid to rest. And every year on his anniversary of his death, people come up here and play guitars and kind of, just hang out with them in memorial of him and his wife.
Catalina, are you a Hank Williams fan?
What about you? Are you?
Actually, I am. I like Hank Williams. Any Hank Williams fans here? We got Hank Williams and his wife
Audrey.
here, Miss Audrey.
We have a museum downtown as well.
And Hank and Audrey right down there. They just asked that, you don't desecrate it. But he's got all of his main songs are carved into the head tombstone here. Kalijah, you remember that song? Kalijah was a wooden Indian standing outside the door.
Yeah.
That was talking about Kalijah on Lake Martin, which is north of here, and it's a wood. There's a wooden Indian at the marina at the restaurant, but the restaurant burnt, and they wound up having to replace the Indian.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So was Hank Williams a big pinnacle of the community, or is it more that it's just
He was-
somebody famous?
You remember how the guy was at the restaurant, Chris Hot Dogs, was talking about Hank Williams? Hank Williams he had his issues like a lot of folks, and
I think he did have a serious alcohol.
he did have a serious alcohol problem, and his son Hank Jr. has had some issues and stuff too. But
Of all the people that are famous from our state,
this is probably one of the top ones.
Hey there.
Hey.
YouTubers.
Okay.
Dreamland Barbecue.
Supposed to be real Alabama barbecue.
Let's check it out. Maybe some fish for me. I can see one here.
That's the only fish in the building. We have barbecue here at Dreamland Barbecue in Montgomery, Alabama, and this is supposed to be authentic Alabama barbecue that I'm getting to try here. Catalina is doing a veggie version of a quesadilla,
Yeah.
and Jim here is pretty much got something
Just
similar to
ribs.
what I'm doing here
White
too.
bread.
Now, I don't expect the meat to be as good as Texas. I mean, we all know Texas boys know how to cook some meat, but I'm curious to compare this sauce to that of Kansas City. Let's see which one's better. So here in Alabama, we don't do biscuits, we're not doing cornbread, we're doing real white bread. And traditionally, you just dip it right in the sauce, which is what I'm going to do right now.
Okay, white bread.
I like the sauce. It's good. Good sauce. I'm not a big fan of white bread, but boy, does that make it good.
Right on.
Very good.
Okay.
We want you to get out there and connect with people. Live your big story.
Make sure you do something every single day to reduce road suck.
Peace, guys.
Peace and love.
And I tell you all about it when I see you again. We come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you